We've all heard about marginal gains, shaving grams off the bike and obsessing over sock height like some kind of mad scientist. But for most of us, all of this effort isn't going to make a blind bit of difference to our actual speed. Meanwhile, your mate Dave, riding a 20-year-old bike with a creaky bottom bracket, is flying past you. What the fudge is going on? Like most people, you've probably watched one of these cycling documentaries, and now you're convinced that if you can add quarter of a watt to your pedal stroke, you'll transform into some kind of born-again Tadej Pogačar. You've optimized everything: your tire pressure, your aero position, even the way you hold your water bottle, because, well, yeah, marginal gains are the secret to cycling success, right? Well, not exactly. I'm going to break down why I think marginal gains are a complete waste of time for most cyclists. So before you rush out and spend £500 on a set of ceramic bearings that might just make you 3 seconds faster over 1,000 kilometers, let's talk about where real improvements might come from. When I was a kid, if I didn't feel very well, my mum would give me a polo mint and tell me that it was magic medicine. Now, it didn't matter if I had bubonic plague. Stick a polo mint down my gullet and put me in front of the telly with Scooby-Doo, and in 10 minutes I'd be right as ninepence again. Now, obviously, this wasn't down to the medicinal power of the polo mint, although to be fair, it did have a nice minty kick. No, the reason this worked was purely and simply because I believed that it worked. Well, I was only 18 at the time. And that, boys and girls, is what they call the placebo effect. Now, I'm just going to put this out there and say that all of these marginal gains that cyclists obsess over are nothing more than expensive polo mints. If you think about it, these pro teams are all obsessed with marginal gains, and that's because they are already at the limit of human performance. If you're trying to win the Tour de France by fractions of a second, literally any small improvement can make a massive difference. But for most of us, well, we're not trying to win the yellow jersey. As for me personally, I'd be happy just getting up my local tough climbs without the need for a defibrillator. It's all very easy to go out and spend, say, £300 on the latest and greatest aero helmet so that you feel faster, or maybe invest in a newfangled carbon bottle cage so that you feel like you're slicing through the air. But in reality, it's not really your fancy gear that's making you go faster, it's just your brain convincing you that you're going faster. It's a bit like trying to make an old clapped out Fiat Punto go faster by putting a racing stripe on it. It might look fast, but yeah, it's still going to struggle going up a steep hill at 20 miles an hour with the hazard lights on. So if marginal gains don't really matter, what does make a difference? Well, luckily, there are a few things that can make a huge improvement, and the best part is that they're absolutely free. Back in his early career, the legendary Fausto Coppi rode races on the only bike that he had, and it was a very heavy, very clunky bike that he used for delivering meat as a butcher's apprentice. Now, not only was he competing against riders with superior bikes, he was actually going on and beating them. And how did he manage this amazing feat? Well, yes, of course, he was naturally gifted, but more importantly, he trained relentlessly and he was at the peak of his physical fitness. It just goes to show that improvements don't come from upgrading components. It comes from upgrading yourself. So instead of going out and spending £1,500 on a set of super light carbon wheels, you might get a lot more benefit from working on your endurance so that you don't fade after 30 kilometers. And instead of obsessing over a new group set, maybe make sure your position on the bike is comfortable, because you'll gain a lot more speed by pedaling efficiently. And instead of dropping a shitload of cash on some designer aero overshoes, maybe work on your bike handling skills. So many cyclists get caught up with marginal gains yet completely ignore the obvious. It's very much like obsessively polishing that old clapped out Fiat Punto and then not putting any petrol in it. That's a couple of reasons why I think that marginal gains are overrated. But now let's move on and look at the biggest trap of all. And trust me, this one is gonna sting a bit. Trying to save 50 grams off the bike while you're carrying 5 kilos of extra body weight is like trying to take a teaspoonful of water out of a swimming pool to stop it from overflowing. Yeah, it's the classic weight weenie thing. Every single cyclist has done it. You're calculating just how much faster you think you'll go riding a 7.1 kilo bike compared to a 7.2 kilo bike. But let me ask you a question. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror recently? I know I have, and it's not a pretty sight. I hate to say it, but bike weight doesn't matter nearly as much as body weight. And believe me, I have first-hand experience of this. Can you believe that once upon a time, I didn't want to carry more than 2 spare inner tubes on the bike because it was too heavy. And yet here I am now with, well, let's just say a couple of extra kilos in the belly department. It wasn't the tubes that were the problem. Listen, I'm not saying that you need to be a complete skeleton on 2 wheels, but if you're seriously chasing performance gains, then your fitness and your body composition are going to have a far greater impact on your performance than any marginal gains ever will. And you know what's ironic? Some of the most obsessive weight weenies that I personally have known have also been the ones that have had the biggest slice of cake at the cafe stop. Again, I'm not judging, I'm right there with you. So here's the real way to improve on the bike without wasting time or money. Top of the pops has to be to ride consistently. Nothing's going to make you faster than spending time in the saddle, and no aero gadget is going to replace a good level of fitness. Next, focus on the beer belly before investing in lighter components. Losing 5 kilos of body weight is going to make a much bigger difference than saving 500 grams on the bike. And then maybe work on your bike handling skills. You're going to save a lot more watts by pedaling smoother and riding efficiently than you will do from spending £500 on ceramic bearings or pedals made out of mist. Don't get me wrong, marginal gains do matter, but that's only if you're already at the peak of physical fitness, and I doubt most of us normal people are. For us, I would suggest just getting out there, riding your bike, enjoying yourself, and not worrying about wearing the latest aero designer jersey or if your socks are at the perfect height. There's always something new to learn that can make our cycling even better, and that's why I've created my own free monthly newsletter. If you'd like to sign up, I'll leave a link in the description below. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.